Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up, people? What's going on? Anthony, what's up? What's up? All right, we're going to bring in Mr. John Scully right now. Hey, what's up, John?
What's happening?
How you doing?
All good, all good.
You back in the States? Where you at?
Yeah, I'm home now.
Well, that was some fight, huh?
Yeah, you could say so. It
Uh,
was yeah, it was quite an event.
Yeah, it was crazy. So training camp went well? Anything irregular
Yeah,
or
no,
anything?
everything was good. He no injuries. Like it's funny. I did an interview right before the fight, and somebody said, "Well, how did his knee hold up?" And I had actually, until they mentioned it, I had completely forgotten about his knee. Like it was never an issue. So that was a good thing. We didn't have many glitches in camp.
Yeah, I mean, don't torn meniscuses generally heal up like 4 to 6 weeks or 8 weeks, maybe tops?
I don't know much about it. I know this. When I first heard it, I thought it sounded really bad. Like a meniscus sounds really bad, you know? I'm thinking like ACL type of thing. But then I knew a guy, there was a fighter, I forget who it was, but there was a fighter who had it. And he goes, "Oh man, yeah, it wasn't that bad. Like I healed up in a month and a half or, whatever." So that made me feel better and it was all right.
Yeah, yeah. I my father had one years ago, and I've known people about one of my Yeah, they heal up quick. So, and Arthur hadn't fought in how long?
I think it was what was it? I think it was January, last January.
Okay, so it's a while. Yeah, it's a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so at the end of the fight, well, first off, during the fight, somebody, and I didn't hear this, but somebody had mentioned, or people have said that they heard somebody, I don't know if it was you or somebody else, tell him, you got to knock this guy out. Is that true?
I didn't hear it. I think it was Mark. I think they said it was Mark. But I mean, people have to understand, like when you go into the 11th and 12th round of a good fight, right? You're always basically going to tell the guy that something, either that or something similar, because you can never go into a, like to a decision of a close fight and expect to not have something weird happen. Like you think it's 8-4, and the judge has it 11-1. You know what I mean? So the scoring is almost never what you think it is. So
Hmm.
I always tell my guys, like, if we're going to the 11th round, I say, man, listen, I don't know what the score is. Like you gotta really make sure, whether that means win by knockout or just win these 2 rounds big. But so I don't think, because somebody else had mentioned that to me, and I wouldn't take it like it's a big deal. Like like if they wanted to say like we thought we were losing, but I would think they would have told him something similar. Like, you got to finish strong. Like, we got to show the judges, if it's really close, if it's a 1 round fight, 2 round fight, they need to see something dramatic and big from you in these closing moments.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. How? Okay, so I'm gonna go back and forth. How did you feel when the bell rang? Did you feel like we got this in the bag, or he might get robbed, or it was close? What'd you feel like?
Close. Like I never score a fight. I've never scored a fight in my life. I couldn't tell you what I have it. I just watch a fight and I go, we got it. We're losing, whatever I think, you know. Uh, when the bell rang to end it, I thought, I don't know, like I think we got it, but I don't know, I can't bank on it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't bet my life on it. It
Okay.
was a close fight, and it was a type of fight. I kind of similar to Sugar Ray and Hagler in that
Hmm.
you could see both sides. Because
I
there's
s-
some people to this day that think Ray won every round, and there's people that think Hager bullied him and Ray just wasted punches at the end of the round. So it's
that's
been 35 years, and they still are arguing over it.
that's so funny you say that. I was calling it live, and I've said that numerous times. This was Hagler Leonard,
Right,
except I gotta say, and I don't know if it's because I know you and I was going for better BF. I'm trying not to be biased here, but
right.
I feel like Arthur was a little more convincing because Hagler, Ray at no point
Hagler, excuse me, at no point had Ray retreating the way Bivol was retreating, where it looked like 2 more shots and he might go down.
Right. Twice in the fight, 2 times, and I forget. I think the 12th round was one of them, and I think the other one was the 7th or the 8th or the 9th. There was moments when I thought, we got him. Arthur's got him.
It looked like it.
All he has to do is step up. So you saw it too. Okay, that's good.
Oh yeah.
I thought, if he steps on the gas, he's going to get him. And the crowd, you kind of feed off the crowd. Like sometimes you'll be at a fight and somebody gets hit with a shot, and all of a sudden the noise level goes from the bottom to the top, like rapidly. And the crowd, like you can sense from the crowd, like they see it too. Like he's hurt, And so there was definitely, I can't remember exactly when, but there was 2 moments when I thought Bivol might be ready to get caught. Yeah.
Did you see the short I did? Probably not, but about the fight?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. So the reason I'm saying that is because I'm going to repeat what I basically said. So I saw that, maybe I could pull it up. I saw in the 7th round is when everything changed, in my opinion. Where is this fucking thing? Here it is. Okay. So I'm gonna play right now on the screen real quick. It's only about a minute long. And you tell me what you think here. Where is this fucking thing? Okay, hold on. All right, here we go. Beterbiev claims the undisputed crown. In the opening rounds, Bivol maintained his range and kept Artur at bay by pumping out jabs and combinations with more variety than Timu. Artur kept barreling forward like a Soviet tank, and by the middle rounds began closing the distance and landing thudding cinder blocks. In round 7, Bivol lands a crisp combination that rocks Artur, giving him more courage than the Tin Man. So Dmitry hops off his tricycle, plants his feet, and attempts to finish the job. Dmitry's stationary attack enables Artur to lock in and fire at the target, and he blasts Dmitry with a left-hand counter. Bivol then immediately hails an Uber and starts circling the ring. This begins a momentum shift that sees Artur ferociously walk Bivol down like a hungry bear fresh out of hibernation. In the later rounds, Dmitry's tank is almost on E as he continues moonwalking like MJ away, but Bivol shows more heart than February 14th as he sporadically swings for the fences. Beterbiev, however, maintains the pressure like a vice grip and repeatedly lands sledgehammers that blast through Dmitry's high guard. Final punch stat numbers show that both men landed almost exactly the same amount of shots. However, many onlookers believe Beterbiev edged a close decision as he landed the more damaging shots and had Bivol running like Carl Lewis. Post-fight images also favor Artur as his face... All right, so that's that. So the reason I showed that was I thought that in the 7th round, when Dmitry had hit Artur, and Artur kind of, I don't say he was hurt, but he took like a step back because Artur doesn't seem like he gets hurt, but he could get knocked off balance for a second. You know, there's a difference between being dazed and just having a punch kind of knock you back for a second.
Right.
And then Bivol seemed to, at that point, be like, oh, I'm going to finish him. And then he got hit with some shit that had him just retreat. And I felt like the retreat at that point never stopped. Bivol did have some random moments of showing a lot of heart. I'll give him that. He would jump in and start swinging, but overall, that's kind of how I saw it. I mean, do you remember that moment when he hit him and he kind of was like, oh, shit?
I remember, I don't know if it's exactly, but the moment, the vibe, you know what I mean? Like it changed. And, that was when I thought Artur had him. Like my vibe, my sense was, man, we're going to get him. Like this is, actually, I think I stood up when that moment hit. I actually stood up in my chair, thinking that the fight might be about to end. And I thought it was going to be really dramatic and, but he escaped and, he boxed, but I think at times he ran a bit, he
to me looked like at times, not the whole fight, he was clearly retreating, not punching, high guard, and literally looked like 1 or 2 more shots and he might have to take a knee, and he knew it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And I felt that at least on 2 occasions where I thought we had him, and but he was mobile and he got out of there, and and I'm assuming that's some people they judge fights, and if a guy is clearly on the move, like he's clearly not trying to really engage, and sometimes he's fighting, but he's fighting back, like he's fighting because he has to, not because he even wants to, but he's just punching back,
Right.
not necessarily by design,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that counts for something as well. Like I say, when it was over, just everything I know about boxing and everything I know about judging and everything, I was like, I'm not sure. I think we got it, but I'm not sure.
Right.
I didn't go up there with supreme confidence, but but we got it for sure.
So, I mean, that's good that you're being honest. A lot of
Yeah.
trainers of the guy would be like, nah, I also thought it was very close, and I wouldn't have been crazy disappointed. I wouldn't have been outraged if Bivol got it, but I thought that being that they landed, as I said in the short, the same amount of punches, almost identically, the one who landed the harder, more damaging shots, and the one who optically had the other guy retreating. Like the other guy seemed to be in danger a few times, whereas your guy never seemed in actual danger. He got clipped clean a couple times, which we never really see, but he didn't seem in danger.
No, and I guess in a moment like that, you'd have to say, what if they kept going? If they kept going 20 rounds, if they kept fighting, who was going
Oh,
to win?
yeah.
Well,
I mean,
obviously
yeah.
Arthur's going to drown this man.
Mm-hmm.
That was very clear to me. So, obviously it doesn't mean anything, but it does. You know what I mean? Like it's an indicator, but the fights are only 12 rounds, so we got to get it done. But one guy, you kind of feel like he's running, hanging on to the finish line, where the other guy hopes it keeps going, hopes we could just stay here all night until somebody dies, and
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
There was a clip recently of Bivol after the fight saying they asked him, about Arthur's power. I don't
Yeah.
know if you saw this.
That was foolish.
And he said that he believes Canelo might throw one punch might be harder. No, he said I think Canelo does hit harder when he loads up one shot than Arthur. I mean, what do you think about that?
I mean, he was walking Canelo down. He was coming to Canelo a lot, and he was running, essentially from Arthur. So you don't run from the lesser puncher. You know what I mean? You don't walk into the harder puncher. And if you're moving away, obviously you're not trying to feel the power. So you're not going to feel the power because you're moving away. So,
Good point.
fight Arthur like you did Canelo and then tell me who hits harder. And I already know. Like there's no
Yeah,
chance on this earth that Canelo hits harder than Arthur. Forget
that's
about
what that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, I
it.
always tell people, I interview a lot of fighters, and a lot of times the fighters tend to say that the person they beat hits harder than the person who beat them. I hear that all the time.
Yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah.
if a guy gets stopped by somebody, he'll say that the person who stopped him doesn't hit as hard as somebody
Do,
else
do
who
you
they beat.
know? Do you know how many guys I've seen? And it's comical to me. Like Roy Jones will obliterate people, but when they ask that guy who hit the hardest, they don't say Roy Jones. I'm going,
Yeah,
I'm going, listen, you know why he doesn't hit the hardest? Because you didn't even feel the punch because he was that destructive. It would be like, having a bomb detonate under your feet and go, I didn't even feel it. Yeah,
yeah,
that's because you're in 5,000 pieces right now. Like
yeah.
you're dead. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I sparred Roy plenty of times to know that he hit everybody harder than they've ever been hit. You know?
So you just hit me with a beautiful bounce pass. What if Roy in his prime would have fought Arthur, being that you've been in the ring with Roy, and I mean you've never fought Arthur, but you've felt his
Right.
punches. What would happen
Yeah.
in
Hey,
in
let
their
me tell you a
prime?
quick funny thing. He actually hit me when we were first in camp in Saudi. He caught me with a right hand on the mitts. He missed the mitt and he caught me instead. So I actually have been hit by him.
What happened? Did you go down? No.
No, he caught me, and I was shocked. I was shocked more than anything. I actually had like a red mark here because I didn't block it at all. I had no clue it was coming, and he caught me, and it was funny. He's a nice guy, and after he's like, John, I didn't do that on purpose. And I go, I know, it's an accident, I know, but I would imagine he caught himself and pulled the punch at the last second,
Right.
because here's the thing, especially at my age, if he catches me flush and I'm not expecting it, it's going to cause a lot of damage. So I think he must have taken something off it, but it was like okay, that was different. I didn't expect that, but someone asked me the other day, and realistically, they're at 175, strictly at 175. They're a problem for each other because Arthur's a better boxer than he gets credit for. He's going to be relentless, and his power is, Roy probably, didn't fight anybody at light heavy who could punch like that. But, Roy Jones is a master defensive,
Mm-hmm.
and when I think of a fight like this, I'll tell you a quick story, right?
Yeah.
And this tells you who Roy Jones is, and it was one of the smartest things I ever heard. In 1990, must have been 93, Terry Norris got knocked out by Simon Brown, right? He got crushed. And at that time, Terry was a beast. He was killing everybody, and he got in love with his power, and Simon matched him and crushed him. So they fight again. I believe it was April or May of 94. Must have been 94. So Terry puts on just an unbelievable boxing display. Like he wins. I think he won every round with Simon. Like he boxed. It was one of the greatest performances ever. And people never talk about that fight. And it was one of the greatest. Everybody should go home and go to YouTube and watch the rematch between Terry Norris and Simon Brown. So he wins the fight. The next day, I'm heading to training camp with Roy Jones. It was in Great Gorge, New Jersey. Okay. So I drive over. I get there and I go, oh, man, Roy, see the fight last night. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. And I never forget what he said. He said, with that Southern accent, he said, shoot. He said, I wouldn't have had to fight Simon Brown twice to know that was how to beat him. And I said, man, that's it in a nutshell. Like he wouldn't have traded with Artur at all. Like he would have.
You're right.
He would have not ran for his life, but he would have boxed.
Kind of what he did to James Toney.
His life.
Kind of what he did to James Toney, maybe.
Say again? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. He would have boxed for his life. And he wasn't trying to prove anything. And he wasn't trying to be, super impressive to the casual fans.
And he would overwhelm Arthur, I feel like. It'd be too much.
He'd be so fast. And but I think he'd be ultra careful. Like he would be the type where other people might hit the gas thinking they're gonna have a knockout. I think he'd be careful. He would,
like Bivol tried to do.
Well, I think he'd be. Roy was very smart, and I don't think he cared to impress people. Like he told me. I remember one time he said, it's all in the feet. And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, and if you look back on his career, this is true in his prime. The guys who went the distance with him had good feet. They had good stance, right? The guys that were aggressive and, didn't have good balance and stuff, he took those guys out. He sucked them in and he got rid of them. But, Hopkins and different guys like that, Tony, the guys that had good balance and good feet were able to go the distance. And, Arthur would be that type of guy because Arthur's always in a position to punch. You never see Arthur falling off balance and he's helpless. So Roy, if Roy didn't see that level of carelessness, he wouldn't explode. And that's why if you look at the guys he knocked out, they were the guys who didn't have that balance and didn't have that wherewithal. What I mean? If you look at his career, you can see that.
You're right. How did Arthur I mean, I don't know if he told you anything else, but he's a man of very little words. I assume he talks to you more. But how did he feel about the fight? Did he feel like he could have done better? Like, what did he feel like?
Yeah, I think I gathered that he would have liked to have done, be much more impressive, but he said Dimitri's very fast and very elusive, and pretty much what we saw, and it's like people are like people say, oh, why didn't he go to the body more? And some people say all he had to do was go to the body more. I go, listen, man, do you know how hard it is to be in a boxing ring and hit a guy in the body who
Yeah,
doesn't want to be hit?
yeah.
Trust me, it looks, and I get it. It looks easy. It really does. And I forget myself sometimes, and I go, "Come on, man, just get in there." Man, it's not. But I know it's not that easy. It's not that easy to track a guy down. And Dmitry was changing directions. He clearly didn't want to get trapped.
No, he was moving
He
in.
knew, and that's the thing. Like he says that Canelo hit harder, but yet he didn't have a problem letting Canelo let his hands go. Now he wasn't
Yeah,
doing that with Artur, so his actions do not, reflect his
yeah.
words at
I
all. He said,
guarantee you, if he would have got the victory, he would have said Arthur's the hardest puncher. I really
"Yeah,
believe
right, right,
I
exactly."
really do. I really believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do too. I do too. Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
so Bivol said after the fight, he goes, "Well, I could have thrown more punches. Like that's how I could have improved." What do you think? Because Arthur seemed to fight exactly how he fights. So, what could he do in the rematch? Assuming there is a rematch, what could he do to improve, in your opinion?
I think his jab. I think we've got to improve. Like his jab is great. Like when he's on his game, his jab is great. He hasn't fought a guy that fast and that much of a versatile mover in a while, if ever. So we've got to double and triple up on the jab. We've got to have a better jab. The jab that he's capable of. I think I think he abandoned it. Sometimes when you're pursuing a guy who moves a lot, you forget the jab because you just want to run him down and you want to tackle him practically. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And you
mhm.
forget to be patient with the jab. And I think that's something. I mean, that's definitely something I'm going to mention to him, and I'm going to in the next camp. I'm going to work on that 100 overtime. I'm going to work on that a lot for sure.
Yeah, and Bivol throwing more punches is easier said than done because I think most of the reason why he wasn't throwing was because he was retreating
Of
and
course.
tired. Yeah.
Listen, you don't throw a lot of punches against a guy who you're trying to get away from. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like that's like I say, I get it from him, but it's amusing as a fighter. It's amusing for him, like I say, to say that Canelo hit harder because you weren't trying to find out if Arthur hit hard. You
yeah.
didn't even want to find out. So it's
Yeah.
easy to like run away, move away, avoid it, and then go, yeah, he didn't hit hard. Well, what do you mean? Like, it's like a guy, you know, he's a football player and he's running away from the tackler. He runs away from Jack Tatum, and then he says Jack Tatum doesn't hit that hard. It's like, okay, you were going in the wrong direction to really find out.
Yeah, that was clearly, I feel like, a bruised ego statement.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
for
was silly.
sure. For sure.
So a lot of people though now are talking Canelo Beterbiev, which I think is fucking ridiculous, personally.
It, I and I've said it from the beginning. I don't. There's a reason. Look, boxing people behind it all, they're business people. They know where to go and what to say and who to gauge and who to dig in and all that, suck in. There's a reason he didn't fight Arthur when he went to 175. Obviously, he knows. I mean, they know. And they know. He's too small. Arthur is towering above this guy. He's 5'7". It would be a mismatch. There's no way. If Arthur had him on the ropes like Dimitri did, Arthur would sledgehammer him. And I don't think they will ever fight. Ever.
I don't think
And I
so
don't
either.
blame him. I'm not insulting him or making fun of him or
Different
anything.
weight classes. Yeah.
Yeah, there's weight classes for a reason. This is a small man. I always remember two things, and they go together. Arthur fought as an amateur as a heavyweight,
Yeah.
201.
Now Arthur
And
is, sorry to cut you off real quick. He's 5'11" or 6 feet.
I would say six
Okay.
six feet.
Okay.
But he fought at 201 and was a world champion at 201 as an amateur. Canelo, if you look at the weigh-in pictures when he fought Triple G, Triple G made him look small. And I remember thinking, man, Triple G is a lot bigger than Canelo. This is crazy. Well, Arthur is way bigger than Triple G. Arthur would make Canelo look like a child. There's a
Yeah.
reason they have not fought yet. And
Yeah, I
I
agree.
know what it is. I know what the reason is. You know,
Yeah.
there's no way.
Yeah, there's a reason he picked Bivol first. Yeah.
And Kovalev. Yeah, of course.
Kovalev. Well, Kovalev because he was older, right?
Yeah. And they had the weight clause, and
They did.
people forget.
Kovalev versus Beterbiev in his prime would have been nice. That would have been fun.
Yeah. You know what's funny? They Arthur had beaten him as an amateur. They knew each other, and I remember the guy saying Kovalev would. Buddy McGirt said it. He said Kovalev couldn't deal with the body punching of Arthur.
Ooh.
He
Neither could
said,
Usyk. Usyk got
yeah,
dropped, right?
exactly. And and he said, and because you see, Andre Ward got him with a body shot, hurt him with the body, and I guess somebody else did too, but they don't punch like Arthur to the body.
Right. Right.
I don't think Kovalev wanted to fight Arthur.
So is there a rematch? Was there a rematch clause of any kind?
I don't know, but I know they said it right after the fight at the press conference that that's the direction that we're trying to go. Yeah, I would assume that's going to be the next fight.
And I'll let you go soon. After this, what? So he's about to be 40, right? When's he turn 40? Soon.
I think he's got like another year. I think his birthday I think is at the end of the year.
Okay.
I think he's 38 now. He's gonna be 39.
Oh, I thought he was 39 already. Either way,
I think he's gonna be. Yeah. Either way, he's up there.
Okay. So does he ever talk about? Because I mean, I've heard him ask this, and I'm just asking you because obviously you're closer to him, and he might have. Has he ever talked about how much longer? I mean,
Never.
He's gonna go. Anything?
Never.
And do you see any kind of? Because you're honest, have you seen any kind of a slowdown from his age?
I really don't think so. I think, over the last two camps, he had the tooth issue, which he never said anything about, and he had the knee issue, which he never said anything about. So, I said, man, what's up with this? Not knowing these were the factors. Now that this camp, he's no problems with his teeth and no problem with his leg, and everything was back to normal, and he's looking good again. So I think he's different. He's a guy who can fight in his advanced years just because he takes such good care of himself, and he eats very well, and he doesn't party, he doesn't drink, he doesn't hang out, anything like that.
What is, and I'm assuming it's praying, but what is he doing when he's constantly like talking, like mumbling to himself?
Yeah,
he's praying.
He's praying. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that in the very beginning. He he's just, for a sec, I heard it. It's kind of funny. But the first time, you ever see on Seinfeld, the low talker?
I didn't see that, no.
You don't know it? Well,
nah.
Jerry was dating this girl, but she talks, but you can't hear her because she's like whispering, and everybody's like, what are you saying? What? And so in the beginning, I was with Arthur, and he's next to me, and I see him moving his lips, and I'm like, what? I thought he was talking to me, but he was just talking low. and then I find out, somebody was like, no, man, he's praying. He's praying constantly. Like, this dude's constantly. Yeah. And it's funny. Like, I respect it because we'll be in the ring before the fight, and you see him, and he's just like, it's a steady stream. Just his lips are moving. His lips are moving. He's constantly praying.
It seems like that's the way.
In fact, he went to the mosque after the fight.
Oh, it seems like that's the way he deals with his stress. He just prays. That's what it seems like.
Yeah. Like I'll tell you a fun thing. I'll tell you a cool thing, right? When I first started training with him back in 2016, and we're at this gym one day, and we're in the ring, elevated ring, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just leaves the ring. I'm holding the pads for him. He just leaves the ring. And I'm like, man, what's up with this dude? Like, what's he doing? And I said to someone, like, hey, man, he just left. and they're like, and they looked at the clock, and they saw it's like 3:00. He's praying. They said, don't worry, he'll be back. He'll be back in like 2 minutes. And 2 minutes later, he comes back, and we start hitting the mitts again. And he didn't say anything, and that was it. So he was so devoted that he couldn't let the time go.
I mean, he could have warned you. Like, I'll be right back. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
yeah,
for
but
it.
I guess maybe he was late. He was like, he noticed the clock, and he just went, and that was it.
Okay, okay. Did you happen to see the whole drama with Bivol's wife and how she was throwing up? Have you heard about any of this?
That lady, man.
Oh, you do know
Listen,
about it. Okay.
you know what's that saying? Like, I think it's in the Bible
Oh,
about the
oh,
woman scorned or something.
something like, yeah.
Man,
It's
they're talking
hell
about her.
haveth no fury as a woman scorned. There it is.
They're talking about her. It's like that saying. It was in the book or whatever. They should have her picture. She is a mean, evil little lady,
Great.
man.
But you know, if it's true what she's saying, because apparently she said Bivol beats her ass and all that, maybe she has a, you know.
Yeah. But she's at the fight. She was cheering for Arthur, and like she's on video cheering for him during the
I
fight,
know.
and he
What
won. That's like she's
did Art?
vindictive. Like I get it. Look, I get it. If your husband's a bad guy, and maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But if you think he is, and you want to stick it to him, but like she's really taking that a rough route there.
Wild. Did Beterbiev have any reactions to that? Did he
No,
care
he
to
never
leave?
said he wouldn't exploit that type of thing. Like he's like an American fighter, 100% is gonna, like, at the press conference, he's gonna be like, "Yeah, I saw your wife the other day. We were hanging out.
Yeah.
She says she can't stand you, and she likes the way I treat her better. Maybe we'll hook up. Who knows? That's what America
Yeah.
does. You remember
He doesn't do that shit.
Paulie and Broner, and
Yep.
all these guys, But Arthur would never do that. He would never do that. Never.
Yeah, no, totally. What? Because Arthur, and this brings me to this next question. Arthur seems very classy, but there was a moment where he seemed, and I'm curious if this was real or playful, where he seemed to get agitated with Eddie Hearn. Was that real, or was he just playing around?
You know what? It's hard to tell with Arthur, right? Um, he seemed to me, this is my take on it. He seemed to want to present an image of like it was fun for the audience, but I think he meant it.
It seemed like it.
I think he meant it. I think he didn't want to make it too uncomfortable, but he was kind of like letting Eddie know, just between them, like, hey man, like, I'm a little annoyed over here, because and I get it, because that dude, man, he's annoying. Like, he
Well,
really is.
what was Hearn doing to annoy Arthur?
He was saying that Arthur was disrespectful because at the press conference he didn't speak a lot. And I'm like, listen, man, that's not him. Like, he's not a trash talker. You're not going to get a lot. Eddie was being like over dramatic. He's like, he's getting paid a lot of money, and he's got to advertise this, and he just gives these one word answers, and it's like, man, relax. Like, that's him. That's the answers you're getting. Anything else would be fake. And Arthur's, if anything, there's one thing he's not. He's not fake. He's not gonna.
Yeah.
He's not gonna trash talk. He's not gonna talk crazy. He's not gonna threaten people. That's not him. If that's what you want, you got to go get somebody else. But so I think Arthur, knowing him, I would say he tried to make it seem funny, but I think he meant it. And I get it, because that dude's kind of annoying, man. Like he sat right behind me at the fight,
Uh-huh.
and he's just talking, like yelling up, and half the stuff I'm like, this dude's annoying. Like it doesn't even make any sense. He's
Like what?
like
Like,
just. I mean, I honestly right now I forget exactly, but just saying commentary like up to the ring, and I think he's just trying to like get in Arthur's head, and that type of thing. Just saying nonsense.
you think
He's
he
kind
was
of like this
trying?
type. He's kind of like the guy in high school that constantly says stuff, and then when you look at him, he kind of smiles in the corner of his mouth, like to let you know he's only joking, and relax, don't get mad at me, I'm just joking, but he
Right.
he tries to annoy you, and he's successful at it, I think.
Wait, were you in the ring or no during the fight?
I was in the corner. I didn't like Mark was in the ring in between rounds, but I
Okay.
was in the corner. So Eddie
Yeah.
was literally right by Eddie and Buster Rhymes. They were sitting right behind me.
That's cool. So was Buster Rhymes saying anything?
No, he was cool. He wasn't saying anything. He's a big dude though. I'll tell you that
He's
much.
like
He's a lot
6'3".
bigger than he's a lot bigger than I thought he was. Yeah, he's a big
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. No, I've been around him before. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So I guess a rematch is what's coming, right?
Yeah, I would say it's a fight that has it begs for a rematch.
Yeah.
Similar like Hagler and Leonard never fought again against each other, and this is the type of fight that we're here. Like we're here. Everybody's here. We're active. Let's do it again. It would be horrible if they didn't fight again.
Yeah, and hopefully he can get a stoppage in the rematch.
Yeah, I hope so.
Hopefully. Do you have any other fighters you're working with that are fighting anytime soon?
Yeah, middleweight Stephen Butler, out of Montreal. He fought Janabek for the title, and he's fighting in the first week in November at the Montreal Casino. So we're training for that right now.
Okay, cool. Well, hey man,
Yeah.
I appreciate you talking to me. I don't know if I did tell you, but I moved to Norwalk, so I forget where you
Yeah,
are.
that's right. Yeah, you did tell me. Yeah, so you're close. Yeah, that's cool.
You're in what? You're not in Hartford, right? Or you are?
Right in Windsor, right next to Harvard.
So that's like what's that? An hour from here, right? Something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
an hour. Yeah, it's
An
1
hour.
hour.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man.
That's
Well, look,
cool.
again, man, I appreciate it. Great fight. It was, great job. And I look forward to seeing it again, man. It's gonna be dope.
Yeah, me too. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, man. Take care. Peace.
All right, bye.
All righty. My man, John. All right, people. What's going on? How are we doing? How we doing? All right. How we doing? Iceman, John Scully. Good dude, people. Good dude. Okay. I know I saw we had a super chat. I'm sorry, I'm just seeing it now. Edgar, let's hit you with the appreciate you hitting me with an extra crispy 5-piece, extra crispy and original recipe. Big shout out to John for coming on the podcast. Big shout out to you, Igor. Excuse me, not Edgar, but Igor. 55 people. Yep, doing good. All right. Homer would have been 50 watching. All right. Oh, now we losing some now that John left? Great interview. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate you. Mexican boxing. Better show than Ness. Ness is just listening to his theme song. You're late, Shane. I just interviewed Beterbiev trainer, one of his co-trainer, I suppose. That was interesting. Interesting stuff to hear. Yeah, that was interesting. It's cool, man. You very rarely see a trainer who's like, could have gone either way. Usually they're like, nah, you beat him, blah, blah, blah. But he was being honest. I like it. Iceman said Beterbiev would have had his way with Roy Jones. I know that. No, he didn't say that. What are you talking about? Get out of here. He didn't say that. Watched it live, had Bivol the winner, watched it again the next day, scored it one. So if you have it 115, 115, I don't know. I got to give the edge to the man who did more damage and had the other man retreating. That's just me. That was a good dialogue. Thanks, Alberto. Mark Wright came in late, that was one of Beterbiev's trainers, co-trainer. The Iceman, John Scully, who was a successful pro himself, sparred Roy Jones. There's actually a really cool video on John's page, I believe, here on YouTube of him sparring Roy. But this is back in like 90, whatever, 91, a long time ago. Iceman said Roy never fought a punch like Beterbiev. Yeah, he did say that. He said he never. Yeah, he did. I mean, because what punchers were like? Beterbiev is a 1 in a million kind of puncher to begin with. So thanks, Mike. Appreciate you. Beterbiev is going to be 40 by the time of the rematch. Too old? Doesn't seem like it. He's fighting like he's not too old. Any thoughts on the new Undisputed boxing game? I only played it once, and I found it to be whack. I found it to be maybe a 6 out of 10. 2005 level graphics, kind of unrealistic robotic punching, and very complicated user interface. In other words, he was saying Roy would have got sparked. Oh, Roy would have beat Artur. Roy would have outboxed him. After you're done with the live, I'm going to go back and rewatch the interview. Well, bet. Well, what else we got, guys? I got about 20-ish minutes to chop it up. And I'm going to put this interview on my YouTube after, because I get way more views on my actual YouTube videos than I do in my lives. Because people don't go to rewatch lives as much as, and I don't think, and lives don't get pushed, I don't think, in algorithms. I believe they don't, whereas videos do. You know what I'm saying? Albert Ramirez, a bit of rematch as mandatories. Okay. I should have asked about Benavidez. That's what I should have asked. See? But didn't do it. I'll do it next time. Ben versus Eubank. Who you got? Eubank's way too big for Ben. That won't even be. I think he destroys Conor Ben. I played Undisputed. I made Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, Jake. Can you really use Jake Paul in that game? Benavidez versus Morrell. Benavidez, truth, by stoppage. Morrell is not ready for this level of competition. To me, Beterbiev was getting punched too much on the way in. Well, not really, but the pattern that was established was either Beterbiev was chasing Bivol down and Bivol was retreating, not punching, or Bivol would piece him up, but then Beterbiev would come right back and have him running and land some shots. That was the pattern. Very few times did you see Bivol clip him up and then Beterbiev not get his get back. You should have asked if Arthur's knees. He already talked about the knees. He said they were total. The first thing we talked about, Alberto, he said that the knees were fine. He said Beterbiev didn't even mention it. Oh, you created him. Okay. David stopping Morrell for sure. The question is, oh yeah, I don't bet rounds, guess rounds, because come on, I don't have a crystal ball shoved up my ass. Beterbiev is Bivol 2. It's gonna be, they're gonna rematch, it seems. That's what John was saying. I'm late. Did you find out what the sound was in the wall? No, I did not. I don't know. It could have been birds outside. It could be chipmunks in the walls. I don't know. But it hasn't come back today. Bivol was on his bike too much. That's a fact, Alberto. Don't forget the biggest robbery this year is hands down Sean McCombs versus Barboza. Okay. Who's David Morrell? Great question. I know your name's not Homer, but I don't know what else to call you. So, great question. He is a light heavyweight undefeated boxer who, for some reason, a lot of people think is the second coming of Jesus, Mother Mary, baby Jesus, and Michael Jackson. Sound in the wall. No, shut up. Let's stop talking about that. Barbie gives chipmunks chew up your roof. Well, I'm renting, Truth, so the landlord gets to deal with all that if it's the case. I think it was birds because yesterday was a very windy day, and it's the first time I ever heard it. So I think maybe birds were like under there doing something. Maybe staying away from the wind. I'm not sure. What else we got? It was me the whole time. Okay. Homer, you have to be young. Have to be. In your 20s for sure. Was good, Remington? You just missed the... Yo, you didn't call today on TBV, did you? There's a dude, Charles, that called. But I don't know if that was you. I don't think it was. I feel like you would have said something. Who's your favorite boxer of all time? Oh, come on, Mickey. You dare ask me that? Who's my favorite boxer of all time?
I must have forgot.
Does that explain who? Come on now. Roy, Riggedy, Jiggity Jones. And my current favorite boxer? Tank and Benavidez and Inoue. Now Beterbiev versus Jai. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know if he's going to go to cruiser. Bivol said in the past interview he wishes he moved more. Usyk beat Beterbiev in the Olympics by moving and picking up. Well, yeah, Usyk's also 3 to 4 inches taller. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. You're definitely like, I want to say like 19. You might be 15. No, it wasn't me. Okay. I didn't think so. No, earlier today I'm talking about. Okay. I didn't think so because I think he would have said Charles Remington. He just said Charles. And the dude didn't sound like what I expect you to sound like. You do have like a thick Southern accent, which you're from like, I forget where you're from, but some shit like Indiana or some shit without those Southern accents. You're from maybe Seattle or Washington State, some shit like that. You ever watch IBFP boxing channel on YouTube? Pure comedy. I don't know what that means. I've never heard of it. I don't know what that not, I always forget. Not anagram. What's it called when you have a bunch of letters? Fuck. I always forget. But I don't even know what that stands for. But do you have any excuses? All right. You know what? This is for you.
Get the fuck out of here!
Victorville never. Oh, right. Ryan Garcia's home. Victorville took some Ostrine, but none of it spilled. Even if he did Peds, Marco, you're ignoring Jones did that. He got caught. He had a dirty test once that he claimed. He explained what it came from, and it never happened again. Come on, acronym. Thank you. I always forget that. Marco, all the recent undisputed fights. I know, man. I know. Which is good. Except, wait, no, not all of them. Dwayne, there was one undisputed fight a little over a year ago where it was a pure domination. Pure domination. So you're wrong. Out of the last 3, 1 was a pure domination. 2 were razor close. Ostrich. What? Were the title gloves really that good, or were you? Nah, they were dope. They were dope. I didn't even put out the full video. I wanted to say they had dope padding, super soft, high quality premium leather. Broke in within me using them, maybe 3 or 4 rounds of using them. They broke into my hand. They loosened. They felt great. Super light, but great padding, like great shock absorption when I punch. They're dope. Best gloves I have, actually. Better than the fucking Clear Reyes I use. Better than the Grants, although the Grants are pro fight gloves. They're dope. I got another company sending me free gloves. This is an unknown company, but I'll take free gloves, man. And these are laced gloves. They're for fighting, but they're 14 ounces because I want to use them for bag gloves. So I'll still use them as bag gloves. I'll do a review on those when they get here. I know Crawford was pure. Yep, there you go. Crawford. That's it. I said there was 1 pure domination. The other 2 were not. What's up, boxing, pound for pound? Jack. Were you an amateur? Yes, I was. 15 fights. Second place in the Adirondack Golden Gloves. I won. Got the trophy to prove it. Haney dominated Camboso. Oh, yes. That's not really recent. He said recent, but you're right. He did. My favorite fighter is Wilder. Okay, good for you. Nothing is better than Reyes. Nah, I disagree. That Tim fight going to be hard. I forget Russians. Yeah, they're fighting Saturday, right? Bud washed DJ. He washed him. Washed him like you put 25 cents in that machine and you start. He washed him like a dishwasher. He washed him like what's that fucking washing that liquid detergent called? Damn, I can't think of it right now. That would have been good though. Is boxing a martial art? I don't know. I don't think so. Roach ducked the Russian at 130. Okay. Marco, can you skip the amateurs? Yes, you can. What's up? Question. Bivol fight in Saudi Arabia. What's up, Demacion? Started Sunday morning. Do you think you can have an effect on fighters starting? Well, fighters generally go there early and acclimate to the change, just like they go there early and acclimate to the climate, to the altitude if they're fighting in like high altitude places. Thoughts on Zoo versus? I don't know much about Murtaliziev, so I'm gonna go with Zoo. I heard Errol needed injections to get out of bed. I believe it. He fucking looked like something was wrong with him. If Tank fought the guy from 130, it'd be more impressive. Yep. Marco, the zoo tickets are $1. Maybe cover that fight. What do you mean they're $1? What are you talking about? Spence versus Fundora got. I believe it didn't it? And I think Spence, Fundora, and Morel and Benavidez might be on the same card. That's what I saw. I don't know if it's true. What other combat sport? I did Taekwondo when I was really little, but other than that, that's it. Now you guys tripping that Russian is so tough. So is Shrink at 168. Who's Shink? Shink? It's a fucked up name. The zoo tickets are $1. Go and Ticketmaster. Where are they at? Still got to get fucking airfare. Kidding me? Airfare, my man. Rush to and hotel fare. You know, yeah, tickets are cheaper, so that's good at least. But the prime, like usually if I go to fights, I will get free tickets because I'll get press passes. So the expensive part is the travel and the hotel. Because I got Fundora. I wouldn't be surprised if Fundora beat him. Orlando, yeah. Tim has it tough. I'll be impressed if he knocks him out, honestly. Okay. Costs more to get to the arena. Way more. Why are they selling tickets for $1? That can't be right. That's weird. That's strange. But it's a draw. Okay. Okie dokie. What else we got, people? I'm about to bounce out of here in a little bit. Because a brother like me is tired. I got to piss like a racehorse on top of that. It's $2. Childe Garcia. What's up? Welcome. Who has worse legs, Wilder and Esther Gibbs? Oh, I don't know. I mean, that's Ness, obviously. I don't know in what, but he has nothing about him physically is better than Wilder. So, is Ryan Garcia a hype job? No, he's not a hype job. He's definitely champion material. Not saying he'll win a belt because he might not, but he's possible. Yeah, it's a draw. Okay, that's your opinion, and I'm not mad at that. That's very plausible. What's up, Real Infinite? What's cracking? Marco, if I was a promoter, I would make pay-per-view cheaper because more people could buy it. Yep. Tim is a real deal. Fights anybody. Yeah, I know, man. Tim's no joke. And took his loss like whatever. You know, I was cut. I couldn't see. I still almost beat the motherfucker. Tim was rocking his ass too until he got cut. Danny who? Ryan Garcia is probably going to be champ soon. I mean, shit. It's possible. It's very, very possible. Was that for a belt against Haney? I don't think it was. I mean, I know it turned into a no contest, but if Boots stays at 47, he'll be champ. That's true. He is champ. Boots is already champ. Thoughts on Kenneth Sims versus Oscar Duarte? I've heard of Oscar Duarte. Don't know if I've ever seen him fight. Never heard of Kenneth Sims. Unfortunately, can't give you a breakdown on that. My apologies, brother man. Oh, ring walk? I don't fucking know. I don't know. I don't think he's coming back in terms of on camera, but I don't know. He missed weight. Yeah, isn't that funny? Yet Devin was a pound heavier on fight night. Could Ryan beat Tank at his natural weight? What you mean? Roland Polanco is really good. Impressed by him. I got him beating Brian Norman Jr. Okay, I'll check him out. I've never seen him. Ryan, like Oscar De La Hoya, he's losing his mind before he got belts. Oscar lost his mind way after he got belts. Roland versus Boots is interesting. Okay. I'm with it. Vlad TV just dropped an interview with Michael. I know. I don't really hate to say this, but like I don't really give a fuck about Michael Nunn. You know, this is not 1990 where he was relevant. The motherfucker peaked and looked like he's one of the greatest fighters of that generation, and then James Toney put his ass out. And then he kind of fizzled away, and he stopped fighting. I think because I know he got locked up, but I don't know if that was while he was being active or not. Who cares? I mean, Michael Nunn was never a star. He was almost a star, and then James Toney snatched the stardom before it even fucking hardened, and before it hardened and molded. He snatched it and took it, and it hardened, molded around James. So I'm surprised Vlad even paid that motherfucker. I actually tried to get an interview with Michael Nunn, and he wanted me to pay him. And I'm like, I don't really make money doing these. This was also before I was as popular as I am now. But I was like, I don't even make any money. Like, and who the fuck? Like, no disrespect to him, because he was still world champion, which I never was. But nobody wants to see Michael Nunn in 2024. It's just goofy. So yeah, I don't really care about the Vlad interview because I don't really care what Mike has to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? I heard briefly why he went to jail. It was something kind of weird. He went to jail for a long time, and I feel bad for him. I think it was kind of fucked up, but and I'm a historian. Like, I love the 90s era's fighters, and I still don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? If he would have had a longer, more productive career, Michael Nunn, then maybe I would be like, oh, let me hear about all the fights. James Toney was the only, When he hits someone with the body shot, his opponent gasses out. Who? When who hit somebody with a body shot? What are you talking about? You tripping, Michael Nunn was that dude. Yeah, word? Word? For how long? For how long? Until James Toney became that dude permanently. The shit was brief. And Michael, matter of fact, let's pull it up. You want to fuck around with me? And I got to get out of here, but you're going to make me do it now. Because maybe I'm wrong. Let's pull up his box rec. All right, here we go. And let's screen share it. And then I got to get out of here after that. All right, present. Share screen. Michael Nunn. All right, here we go. So, here we go. We got Michael Nunn. All right, let me close all these ads. Okay, 58-4. Got knocked out once. Okay. His last fight was in 02. Okay, so he had actually a long career. 84-02. Okay, so that makes it even worse. That means he was unknown while he was active. So let's go. I know he was undefeated. Let's start looking at names. Charles Campbell, nobody. Billy Robinson, nobody. Charles Jones, Felipe, Randy. Charles, nobody. Alex Ramos, Willie Harris, Charles Campbell, nope. Cecile Pettigrew, nope. All right, when did he win his first belt? Darnell Knox. So far, fighters, look at this, 11-7. Okay, this is a good one here, but 5-3. He's fighting somebody 5-3 all the way into his career. Okay, so far, no names. Frank Tate, here's the first name, big name of the time, but not a huge name. Knocked him out. Okay, cool. Sembu Kalimano, Iran Barkley. That's a big one. Decisioned him. Okay. I'll give him that. Marlon Starling, big one. Donald Curry. Okay. But mind you, he got these guys when they were already at the end of their careers. Donald Curry already lost 3 times, Starling 4 times, Iran already 5 times. And then this one happens. And he gets fucking knocked out. Loses his middleweight title. Then since then, he goes on a bunch of fights here where he's undefeated, but fighting nobody's known, right? 23, decent record. Murky Sosa is a decent fighter, but definitely a journeyman. Then he loses to Steve Little, and he gets dropped. Okay? Frankie Lyle beats him. That's the only big name here. Okay? Oh, he fought John Scully. He UD's John Scully, but still. Okay, Booker T. Ward. All right, and then now he's up at heavyweight, by the way. So now he's overweight. He loses to Graciano, who's a good fighter. So, Michael Nunn. All right, and then he retires. All right, so let's stop sharing this. All right, so Michael Nunn, Justin, only beat 3 or 4 fighters that could possibly be 3 or 4 possible Hall of Famers, but beat them all when they were older. And then got knocked out to James Toney, who ended up becoming huge. So how was Michael Nunn that dude when he only literally had 3 or 4 fights that were against anybody we've ever even heard of, and then he lost, and then never beat anybody of note since? Oh no, now you're changing it to respectable. You said he was that dude. That's what you said. Respectable, of course. That dude, no. Somebody that you'd want to watch. He didn't even knock people out. He was a slick boxer, tall, but he barely knocked. He wasn't even have a knockout puncher. He was just a kind of a dude that was a slick boxer. Justin, I don't know how old you are, but Michael Nunn is known 90% overall in boxing life. In the boxing universe, Michael Nunn is known for 90% for getting knocked out in an upset by James Toney. That's why he's known. So that says something. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't want to watch his Vlad. I saw it, and I'm like, eh. Then he got locked up. I forget why. He was locked up for a long time. But anyway, Buster Douglas might be that dude for yes. Buster Douglas. Oh, so you're saying that dude in terms of just okay. I mean, that's a good point then. He was a rising hot fighter, up and coming star. Buster Douglas is a different level because he pulled off the biggest upset we've ever seen in the history of the sport. But Michael Nunn was, I guess, that dude in terms of that way, if that's what you meant, Justin. Like, just for a brief period, he was the guy everybody was watching. Brief. But then you know what I'm saying? His career was respectable, but was not great. I mean, that's also, I guess, subjective. Like, I never won a world title. He did. So I guess it is great because he won a world title. But it wasn't standout. Wasn't excellent. It was just great. You know, where mine was like below fucking average. So I get it. Anyway, all right, peoples. Dope shit. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.